Father Taylor here on a rainy Thursday, September 26th, with your weekly eBlast. I just finished a very harrowing workout, but I got to get the eBlast done so Carol can go home on time. So here I am. So here's what's coming up. First of all, foremost for you is that this Sunday, September 29th, following the 9:15 service, is our special parish meeting. Parish meeting will take involves two votes, but they both really about the same property, and that's 18 Maple Street. We have sent you 3 times information about 18 Maple Street and how we got here. Remember that the determination was made in 2019 that the amount of money needed to bring the house up to speed, meaning basically to keep it from falling apart, wiring, plumbing, central beams, a roof, was more than we can afford as a parish, so that if any damage happened to the house, any expense we paid would be a liability. So that determination was made, and here we are now to vote on what is the best thing to do. The vestry has gone through this, and the vestry of the 3 choices that we considered voted to sell the house as is. So that is the only question really about what to do with the property that we will vote on. And that will be, well, will the parish agree that the best thing to do is to sell the property as is? We have listed the reasons and how we came to that decision. People have been asking questions, and so that's all very good. We would just as soon everyone get all their questions out before Sunday, so we can have a pretty easy discussion on and that not have to rehearse too much stuff. But we'll do whatever it takes to make sure everybody gets informed and we can make this decision. The subset decision has to do with 2 small parcels of land. I wouldn't even call them parcels. Their aggregate square footage is less than 2/100ths of an acre. I mean, they're these very triangles that actually are maintained by our neighbor. They're really kind of, if you were to make the edge of our property a square, they're actually, kind of connected to her property. And we've been trying to figure out ways for a number of years how to clear that up. And so we've got that as a vote to go ahead and to work that out and be able to work a deal with her to get that property. So that's the second vote. But the main thing is what to do with the property. It's Thursday. The meeting's not till Sunday. If you've got questions, I appreciate all of you who have called me or texted me or sent me emails. I would say that the senior warden also knows this. The junior warden has been living this property for the last 3 years, that and the elevator. So let's get together. We will, following the service, we will have a brief time of taking a break. We will have some breakfast things available. You can wander up to the hall, but the hall is not accessible by everybody. And 2, we don't have the equipment to make the hall a viable place in order to have, so that people who cannot come to the meeting can use to see it online. And so that's why the meeting itself, we're going to go back into the sanctuary. So there will be time, there'll be a microphone for people to come up and speak their opinions. And we'll work our way through and we'll see what happens and what you guys decide on Sunday. So that's like the business part. My heart is really less about the business that we've been spending so much man hours on, and more about the mission. How do we develop disciples? How do we develop a deep worship of God for every person? How do we help empower people that when they leave this building, they are the disciple that Jesus is using in the wider community, with your neighbors, with the town, just in all that you do, that every place you go, you are in his way walking for Jesus and being available to people for that ministry. How do we do that? That's our ministry. That's what I wish we were more passionate about than transfers of properties and things like that. But here we are. It's part of what we do as part of church as mission and church as institution. Okay, some other things coming up. Wednesday nights, every other Wednesday night, right at the church, we have a small group that currently meets at 6 o'clock. It's a small group. We get together last night. We got together. We had a little music to start with. We said some prayers and praise. We took a look at one of the scriptures that's for this week's service. We prayer requests that we all have. It's like a group of people that meet and become more than just people that you see in church. Everyone is invited to that. If you would like to grow in learning how to read the Bible and understand that, you should join that group. If you'd like to have more time to get to know people, more than just how's it going, how about those Yukon women? If you'd like to go deeper than that, you should come out to this group. So that's just an open invitation for everyone to do that. Last Saturday, we had another one of our open worship times. It was very, very powerful. God always shows up and always speaks in some way, and different people hear what God speaks. How much more powerful is that? Then we get to worship the Lord. We have another one of those coming up on October 19th. But for now, I'm just inviting you to Wednesday night to do that. We ask your prayers for discernment. Several groups now have approached us about doing programs and using our building. Some of them are the very things we've been asking God to do, but we couldn't pull them off on our own. So I'm not going to get into the details of it right now because we're in the very preliminary stages, but pray for discernment that if this is God's will, we could figure these things out and be able to minister in a variety of ways and use our building in more productive ways. Here's another invitation. The folks over at McLean want to resume having church services for their residents in their chapel. This was something that largely Deacon Pack Joy used to run, and she pretty much did it on her own, but we are going to do a team ministry. Here's the commitment. It's one time a month from about 10, you're home by 11. It's an hour a month to go over to McLean to participate in a worship service, just to meet people and to be encouraging and to pray with them. Piece of cake. It's something, it's really just a nice thing to do. It would be Fridays at 10 o'clock. So we are looking next week, we are pulling together a core team for our first meeting. But if you are interested in that, and I hope you are, doesn't mean you have to come every Friday, but it's a ministry that I'd like to invite you to be involved in. Sociologists usually say that you minister best to people within plus or minus 5 years of your age. So we have a lot of folks in the congregation who are 70, let's say, and they're very active, and you can't get a hold of them because they're never home. But what a great ministry to go over and just participate and be part of the congregation and to meet some of the folks who come in. So that's an invitation to ministry. I'm also, and I've been praying about this for 2.5 years now, want to figure out if we can find a way to minister to the folks in the independent condominiums across the way from that building that's in the building called Goodrich. These people have really asked for something. Some of them get out to church, but most of them have asked, could we do something here? I would love to be able to put together a team that goes over there. But we're going to start with McLean proper, and then let's see if we can do Goodrich, okay? So those are ministry opportunities for you. Also coming up is on October 5th. It's a fun thing to invite your friends to. It's basically the way we celebrate St. Francis Day is we do pet blessings. So we have a pet blessing coming up first weekend in October. All it means is bring your pets. Tell your neighbors, hey, we're having a pet blessing. Come up to church. It's always fun. There's always some dog that wants to, or cat that wants to run the show. But anyway, so I don't want to invite that. So take a look at the other things that appear in the announcements. Continue to pray for our church members, and for the ministry of our church that goes out to Simsbury and Granby and all the places where you live. To pray that the Lord continues to touch people's lives and puts a seeking heart in people, and that we can be there to help them. So God bless you, and we will see you this weekend.